A little bit outside of Melbourne, you have the opportunity to do lots of things and a lot of stress for the animal. So I was feeling sorry for him, but had to get the job. There's still some practice to be held.
Be able to make it as a shearer. He's very determined.
That's a knife. You know that?
I don't. I've got one there.
That's not a knife. The race, obviously. That's why we are here at the end of the day, not just to have a nice time. Hopefully on the podium, because they've got some nice trophies, I think, always.
Didn't take long for the whole field to get past. Basically I had very little power available only, so still prove, but we'll get there.
All in all, it's good to get another podium after Daniel has been on the podium in Australia, but it's still a long way. These guys are...
Yeah, initially I didn't understand, and once I was told that we are on a different strategy, there was no point to block him further in the beginning of the race, but after that everything was back to normal, but no point running.
Definitely, I would say, the victory in Monza was one of the most special ones we had this year, because obviously I have a lot of memories back to 2008, my first ever Grand Prix win, and for the team it has been incredibly tough the last 2 years, where we had a good car, but in Monza we never really got it to a very competitive level. So it was a very sweet victory for us to finally win in Monza as well. Fernando had a very good start into the race. He went from 4th straight into the lead, and I found myself second. So after the safety car I was able to close in, and I felt I could go quicker, so it was crucial to get past him. It was a very interesting move. There wasn't a lot of room he left on the outside, but I went for it. Had to go a little bit over the grass and stayed flat. But once I was side by side by the braking, I had the inside line and I could get past, which was very important, as we saw later on, because then I was able to pull away. We didn't expect to be that competitive in Monza, because we knew that it will be probably one of the most difficult tracks, but it turned out to be one of the most competitive races we had this year. So I don't think there was a real secret behind the success. I think the people back in the factory, they've been working very hard, especially after the last 2 years where on those type of tracks we were too slow. Working very hard to get a very competitive package, which worked, plus the car was very balanced. So all in all, I think that helped us to be faster than all the rest. Closer than previous race. So looking at the championship, obviously it's still some way to go. We are in a very strong position, which I think we deserve to be in, because we've been working very hard. We've done very few mistakes, so we'll see. I don't really think about the points and the gaps and the possibilities next race. As long as we come out with a bigger lead after the next race, then I think we have done a good job. So we'll see what happens. We had very good races in Singapore in the past, especially last year. I think we were very close. We finished just behind Fernando, second in the race. So I love the track. It's one of the most challenging ones. A lot of corners. It's a long race. It's very hot, a night race. So a lot of special things about Singapore, and the car seems to be very competitive there. So I hope that we can go back this year and get it done this year. It's, as I said, it's a nice Grand Prix, and it would be very special to win.
So we're here to discover about Sebastian away from the track, really. So tell me, how does a globally successful and famous sports star such as yourself unwind away from the track? Can you ever totally switch off, or tactics in the next race always in your mind?
Well, I think surely, obviously you have a big target every year, so it keeps you busy most of the time, but it is important to get away from it, get away from all the stress, the hectic. So it's important, to calm down also from time to time. And I think, I don't use any special methods. I think everyone, has a bit his own things that he likes. I like to, be home first of all, enjoy the peace, maybe go out with friends, spend some time with family, sleep a lot. So all the things that maybe you don't have time for when you're on road, but I think it's, you can compare it to everyone you know, every normal person as well. Away from work, you are happy to be home, relax, and just enjoy the peace.
We're up to 20. We're a quarter of the way through this season, 20 races. Do you feel that we've reached the limit really in what we expect of our drivers in the 20 race limit now, or would you personally? Would you be happy to sort of maybe add to the calendar, and are you keen to drive, or do you feel that we need to rest?
Well, I think 20 is a good number, but it's a big number as well. You know, not just for us, the drivers. I think for the whole, you know, for the whole team, for the whole paddock to move around. Sometimes have races back to back, one weekend straight after the other. It's not that easy, and I think you need to, you know, be aware of that. We have the races more and more spread out around the globe, so these things, they don't make it easier. So I think we just get away with 20 races.
And when the season isn't on, obviously you get a precious 2 to 3 month spell over the Christmas period. Do you totally switch off from Formula One, or are you always thinking ahead to what the future brings come March and a new season?
Well, I think it's important to switch off. So for sure, you know, once the season is over, you are also appreciating the fact that now you have a bit of time. But with more and more races, obviously there's less time over winter. So if the season ends end of November, then you really only have half a month in December that you really have for yourself, and then maybe half a month of January before you then start to prepare the next season. You start to spend some time in the simulator. In February you start go testing, usually end of January, beginning of February you launch the new car, then you go testing. So very quickly you're back in the rhythm, so it's extremely important to use that time, and you only really have these 6, 8 to maximum 8 weeks to really calm down and charge the batteries for the next season.
You've mentioned family and friends, and we saw for the last 2 years, obviously, your victory lap around Vettelheim. How important is it for you to stay grounded, and how do you actually manage to do that? Is it with the support of your friends, or do you have it within your own mind that you need to detach yourself away?
Well, how do I feel? I think generally, unfortunately, people didn't see that we performed well on the day. As a team, I think we did a very good job. We got a fantastic result. I think we had a very strong weekend in Australia already, but maybe didn't get quite the result we wanted. But in Malaysia, I think we were surprised again to, you know, being at the top, racing at the top, and the whole race. I think we worked excellently well with the tires, etc. So I think that's what people forgot. Obviously, what stuck to their heads is the way the race ended, but I think, as I said, there's not much more to add than what happened. I told the team straight after. I apologized for putting myself above the team, which I didn't mean to do. But there's not much more to say really. I don't apologize for winning. I think that's why people employed me in the first place and why I'm here. I love racing, so different climate. So I think we're still in the learning process.